Your neck pain, your shoulder pain, or even like your pain in the back part of your scapula, it's probably not coming from your spine. How many people have tried massage, therapy, chiropractic with no results, including myself? In fact, I went into chiropractic college to try to fix my shoulder problem, and it never worked. Why? Because I was treating the symptom. I did not understand the connection between this area of your body and the gallbladder. Don't worry, I'm going to show you a technique to determine if you have this problem or not. It'll probably take 30 seconds or less, but you really need to understand this connection and how it works. I've been in practice for 30 years, worked on over 40,000 people. 80% of tightness, spasm, pain in this whole area, this is where you might feel it, but it's not coming from this area. Because the problem in health care in general is they don't really look at these connections. Let me just first answer the question why your gallbladder or liver might be creating such problem for you. The gallbladder is the little sac that hangs underneath your rib cage, and it has a connection that goes to your small intestine, and also has another connection or a little tube that goes to the liver. The liver makes something called bile that trickles down and then goes in the gallbladder to make it really concentrated, so then when you're ready to eat, it can contract, push the bile into the small intestine, and help you break down fats. What's the relationship between bile and this pain in our right shoulder area right through here? Bile is made out of cholesterol and bile salts. If your cholesterol is very, very high and your bile salts are very, very low, you get what's called gallstones. But there's a very important stage before you gets to a gallstone. That is basically bile sludge, and it clogs all the pipes up and it creates a lot of pressure, triggering the phrenic nerve that goes right up into this side right through in here, referring the pain down through here. I'm not sure if you can really see this, but this is the phrenic nerve. It goes to the diaphragm. Right above the diaphragm, we have something called the liver, right through in here. This is the liver. Underneath the liver, you have this thing called the gallbladder. If you look up what the phrenic nerve does in Wikipedia, this controls breathing, because the diaphragm is a muscle that contracts and it pushes the lungs up and it brings it down, etc., etc. A lot of people also don't realize this nerve doesn't just control the diaphragm. It sends sensory signals back up to the neck through here. So it's kind of a two-way flow. And there's sources that show that this nerve also connects to the gallbladder, but also the outer portion of the liver. If there's any congestion or swelling or anything that will enlarge the gallbladder or liver, causing what's called referred pain in this area. This problem is so common and it's so easy to fix, but you can't get it fixed with surgery, drugs, chiropractic, physical therapy, or massage. It's a purely dietary thing, and I'm going to show you in a little bit how to test for it to determine if this is your problem, and you'll know within 30 seconds. In reality, it's a deficiency of bile. What causes that? A big one is estrogen dominance. When some women take estrogen replacement therapy or even birth control pills, that's one of the causes. Another cause is medications, especially statins, antibiotics, and antidepressants as well. You can imagine what that does to your liver. If the liver is damaged, you can't make enough bile to prevent this problem. Of course, other things can cause it as well. Drinking too much alcohol, eating junk foods, carbohydrates, sugar, starches, grains. If that's what causes it, how do you get rid of it? One thing is eliminating those key things I just mentioned, but also there's a very powerful remedy, taking bile salts called TUDCA. TUDCA will start to thin that sludge. It helps reduce the fat on the liver, and it's also good for your eyes, for your brain, and for the pancreas. But of course, a lot of times it's just a matter of changing the diet and not necessarily adding anything except this one thing called taurine, okay? Because bile salts are made from taurine. Now the question is, do you really have this problem or not? There's a very quick way to find out. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be manually massaging this area to take some of the congestion out. And if this is the reason why you have a problem, you're going to feel instant relief on the right neck and shoulder area, or even in your scapular area in the back, or even if you have pain down the right arm. It's almost instantaneous. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands and you're going to press like this up underneath your rib cage, back and forth to the point where you feel a knot, okay? And you're just going to hold pressure there, and then you're going to start noticing your right shoulder and see if it loosens up. I'd say over 80% of the time, you're going to notice like an instant relief. Then this will give you an idea that the root cause is not coming from right here, it's coming from down here. But the ultimate correction is changing your diet. Ultimately, you are going to run into someone that you know or even yourself with this problem, and now you have a very powerful tool. I want you to tell me down in the comments if it did work or not for you. Check this out. This is a textbook, Bile Salts in Health and Disease, filled with gold information. Check this out. A long time ago, they didn't really know what bile did. He said that bile had no advantage at all, but the greatest damage results in it staying for a long time in the body. That can irritate the internal lining of the liver, that can back up into the blood and create a lot of problems. And when it's flowing, everything is good, but when it's stuck in the body, everything's bad. It's also very interesting if you go back to the ancient Greeks, like 500 BC. They were studying bodily fluids. What was interesting back then is the bile was one of the fluids that they used as an indicator for health or disease, but they didn't really know what it was until mid-1800s, because at that time they were able to extract it and actually use it to clean grease off of your hand, comparable to a detergent or a soap. Then they had the connection, oh, it can actually help you break down fatty foods. You do need enough zinc and magnesium as cofactors to help you make bile. But what if you don't have a problem with this bile thing I just mentioned? What if you're the 20% that actually has pain in the neck or the shoulder? What do you do then? Well, I have just the video for you right here. Check it out. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.